So there's a whole bunch of factors involved. The biggest is probably the war in Ukraine. But before then, coronavirus pandemic has closed loads of the plants that we use to make gasoline and diesel. And now, 2 years later, it's taking time to get some of them back. Some of them will never come back because the world wants to invest in greener fuels now. The oil prices that we read about every day, crude oil, that is crude oil that is drilled out the ground in countries like the US, Saudi Arabia, all across the globe. What happens then is that oil is taken on pipes or ships to what are known as oil refineries. And when that crude oil goes into an oil refinery, loads of processes that are super complex turn that crude oil into consumable end products. Demand has been growing faster than supply has been able to catch up with it. What a lot of oil market and oil traders would tell you is that the reason prices are so high is because that's the market telling you we need to consume less. We're trying to stop demand occurring, basically. The problem you have is then when governments introduce subsidies or tax rebates, that keeps demand higher for longer, and so keeps prices higher for longer. On the production side, OPEC are adding crude oils, and the oil market is already starting to ask just how much crude OPEC will be able to supply, because the feeling is they'll probably have to pump as much as they possibly can. The other side is in refineries. Now, there, lots of refineries will come online in the coming months and years, but very few of them are in the Western world, particularly not in the UK. One camp says there's a global recession coming, and that's going to hit everything, including fuel demand and fuel prices. So that argument would say that in 6 months' time, and this is one that Citigroup say, oil prices, including gasoline and diesel, will be far lower than they are now. This is kind of the eye of the storm. There's the other camp, which is kind of the Goldman Sachs group camp, and that says that this is a new oil super cycle. There's not enough investment in oil refineries, in oil fields, and demand is just too strong. If that camp is true, it becomes a question of pick your oil price, because the market has to try and destroy demand.